asking a taboo question about money and then asking to see into that hits the algorithmic piece. Story is king. Like, you have to tell a great story. I truly believe that that's like the magic point for like any creator or artist or anyone making anything. It's like you get to do this thing that you want to do, but then you get to like be yourself.
Welcome to the podcast, where we introduce you to incredible humans who share their journeys with the mission to inspire you to harness your own inner tenacity to drive your life and career forward. And now, your host, Adam Posner.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Today's guest is Gabriel DeSanti, award-winning content creator, storyteller, and co-founder of Stage. But honestly, what makes Gabriel stand out is that he's built a platform around celebrating the jobs and people most of the world overlooks. He's known as the creator of the world's longest resume, and through his content reaching more than 1.5 million followers, he's spotlighting unconventional careers, hardworking people, and the real stories behind what work actually looks like today. Everything that I talk about. And Gabriel's partnered with major brands and organizations, including the NHL, Remedy, the city of Las Vegas, all with a mission to change the narrative around career paths and success. Sounds familiar and relevant, doesn't it? And through Stage, he's also reinventing what internships and career exploration could look like by creating immersive, hands-on job shadowing experience that give people real exposure to different industries and opportunities. We have a lot to get into. Let's do this. Gabriel, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you so much for having me, Adam.
I feel like so many things I said there just resonate with the show and everything I talk about with careers and creativity and intersection. And as I was saying before we hit record, I do my due diligence when guests come across my table, plate, whatever the fuck the expression is, my desk, come across my desk here. And I'm like, this guy is interesting. Well, from Brooklyn, New York, from Park Slope, Gabriel DeSanti. So before we get into the good stuff and all your work and everything, it doesn't start in the studio. It doesn't start with a viral TikTok. And keep me straight here. You grew up doing physical labor. You went to trade school at 14. You were a draftsman. You freelance. You've traveled the world making films. Take us back to early days of Gabriel. What were you searching for in those early years?
Honestly, in my early years, I was just trying to prove someone wrong, I think. That person was my mom. And there's this story. I just have to preface this by saying my mom is my biggest fan and I love her so much. But there was a moment in time when I was a teenager. I grew up in the middle of the woods and my parents would always have me doing yard work. And I hated it. I didn't understand why. I was just I was just being a teenager. And there was this one time where, out of frustration, my mom said to me, "You have a horrible work ethic and you're going to get fired from every job you ever get. Or, you're going to get fired from every job you ever have."
Thanks, Mom.
And thanks, Mom, but it was what I needed to hear. And I don't think my yard work improved, but any job that I ever placed after that, it was to prove my mom wrong. And I think that that's like kind of where my work ethic was born. And in a weird way, it like taught me to work hard and work for the things that I want. And that kind of led me to whatever was next.
I love it, right? It's those chips. We all have those chips on our shoulder, right?
Yep.
Like who are we proving wrong in our life? And I want to talk about your mom a little bit more, if you don't mind. At the time, did you think she was just busting your balls and being mean, or did you see it then that she was really using that to motivate you? Or is it just now that you're looking back on it?
It's only in hindsight where I can see that like she was just frustrated and like they genuinely needed help. Like they're trying to do the best they can to raise 2 kids, and have a house and have a life and all of that things. Like they genuinely needed help. And so I know that moment was just a moment of frustration. And my mom actually hates when I tell this story because like, it's not her. She's the kindest, sweetest lady in the world.
But
in this moment, it's just what came out. But I'm grateful for it.
But those chips are so important. Those chips are motivating.
Yeah.
I don't see them. Well, there's a couple of ways to look at chips on your shoulder, right? If you use them and you're so if you're resentful about them and they hold you back and they hold you down, that's one thing. But if you take that chip on your shoulder and use it to motivate you, and I think there is power to the "I told you so," right? That whole concept of "I told you so" and your mom motivated you the right way. right?
Yep,
She
she
said
did.
she did the right thing. So how'd you go from yard work into the creative world? What was that journey look like? What did that look like for you? What was your first step
So
into the world of creating and documenting?
yeah, so I was 13 years old when I first started making videos, and it was just a genuine interest. I started making gaming videos. That was like the very first entry level
Mm-hmm.
version of me being a creative. At that time, it wasn't even being a creative. Like I liked playing video games,
You're just getting on
and
Twitch or something and recording them.
this is pre Twitch. This is
Pre-Twitch,
like
sorry, jeez.
YouTube.
I'm just thinking of my
Like
8-year-old and what he watches.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like this was very much YouTube days, like early gaming videos. And the way I got into it was, I was playing games and then I would like look up tutorials on YouTube. And I just remember those first thoughts of like, wow, it's so cool that like these people are like recording what they're doing and then like posting it online and people are watching that. Like I'm watching that. Like I want to do that.
I'm watching what somebody's doing. Like
Yeah.
that whole idea of that, right? Like they're playing a game. I'm
Yeah.
watching somebody play a game. I'm not even playing the
Yeah.
game myself. I'm watching them play the game. That's a crazy concept, and it still kills all YouTube and everything.
Yeah. And so that was my very first interest. So I remember thinking like, oh, if they can do it, why can't I? And I think that that's been a reoccurring theme in my life. But that was like that was the initial introduction to being creative. So, over time I experimented as a young teenager, experimented figuring out how do I make gaming videos? How do I record, figuring out all of those things. That was very fulfilling for me. And I like for a few years, like 3 or 4 years as a teenager, like I grew a gaming channel with friends that I made from all over the world. And that was like my introduction. And then from there, it grew into, I kind of like grew out of gaming, and I experimented with a lot of different things. I experimented with animation, graphic design. Originally, when I was going to pick a college major, I was thinking maybe it was interior design, but that, that never came to fruition. And then ultimately, I kind of came back to making videos. Like, I never saw the gaming stuff as like, oh, I'm passionate about making videos. Like I thought it was tied to the gaming. And I kind of accidentally picked up a camera. Like I borrowed my little sister's camera and started like taking pictures and making little videos. And I kind of realized, oh, it's the videos that I love. It's not just
it's
the
the
gaming.
art of it. It's a craft.
Yeah.
And that's a light bulb moment, right?
Yep.
Like you're enjoying it and you're experimenting and you're figuring out techniques. Who's inspiring you from a creator standpoint in those early days? Like Casey Neistat, like who are like that's somebody I look to with those early pioneers of video content creation online. They were avant-garde. They were trying things. He was filming shit on a skateboard through New York City. Like who are some of those people that you're like, wow, I like what they're doing there?
Yeah, you pretty much nail on the head. Like Casey Neistat was a huge early inspiration. And then there was this other creator from the UK, I believe. His username was Mars Bar Vlogs. And like just loved watching both of them. And it was very much the same thing of like, if they're doing it, why can't I? And so there was a phase of experimenting with vlogs and making videos with my friends and, emulating your idols while you're finding your voice and your style. And that's like a huge part of my early years.
Isn't that the creative process too? Like I'm not like directly copying them, but they're inspiring me. And listen, nothing is really new, but if they could give you that fire and light that spark, like, all right, I'm going to try to do it kind of the way they're doing it. And then you start to experiment. You start to do your own techniques. You start to do your own storytelling. So I got to ask, so before you built your own audience, I mean, you spent years helping other creators grow behind the scenes. What finally pushed you to stop betting on everyone else and go all in on yourself and your own story? When was that critical moment?
I mean, I think it was only a matter of time because I knew that that's what I wanted for myself, but I needed the tools in my toolbox first. And I think I understood that. So I wasn't like against doing the work for other people because I was like, I need to understand this inside and out.
How to do it.
Like that was my school, was going and working for other people. And I took a chance on myself. I don't want to say it was like just one big chance on myself. Like I took chances throughout the years and tried. And I think that that's a huge part of my journey where I would like, find some level of success or like maybe do a bunch of work and have a little bit of a cushion. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm going to go do my own thing now. And that probably happened 3 or 4 times before it actually worked for me. So I would go through these phases of working for other people, and then I would like dive off for a few months and do my own thing and experiment. And then that didn't quite work or catch on. And then I would have to go back to freelancing, and then I would go back to doing my own thing, so it like waved back and forth for a number of years, which was great for my experimentation. And of course, like you want it to work immediately, but the reality is like, you got to just keep putting in the reps. Yeah, like it didn't work for me until like 2023, 2024. And so that's like a decade of trying.
You got to put in that. And then there's so many, as I'm listening to you and as I'm looking at the research I did for this show here, there's so many parallels in our careers too, where as a podcaster, I'm documenting and capturing other stories. And I always say, Gabriel, like this is my canvas and my guests are the paint, right? And it's for me to kind of put it together. And I've always kind of been a natural storyteller, but it wasn't for me until the last 2 years. And I've been doing this for 8 years that I started to share more of my journey. But to your point, I didn't have those tools and skill sets from a storytelling standpoint, from a creative production standpoint, to find the right resource. Who am I going to work with? Which filmmaker am I going to use to share my journey? But that takes time and being inspired. So what was that point when you're like, there's something about unconventional jobs, and this is a white space that needs to be documented, right? Like, how did that evolve into a theme? And then we'll obviously get into the business side of it. But where did that come from? Where was the genesis of that? It's fascinating.
So in retrospect, like sitting where I am today, I can 100% identify like why it makes sense for me and maybe some of the underlying inspiration. But I'll be so honest, like in the moment, like when we first filmed the first few episodes, it was a deep time of experimentation and just throwing things at the wall and like seeing what worked. So like, I'll tell you about like being in that moment first, and then afterwards I'll identify like why it makes sense. But at the time, this story is with me and one of my best friends, Caleb Simpson. We were just going like, we were hanging out every day. We were working out at the park together, and Caleb makes videos where he tours people's apartments. And so before he toured people's apartments, we were working out, and he was like, I think I'm going to like go like try to like tour people's apartments for these videos. And I was like, that's so fun. Like, let's go film one. And so like we went to my apartment and we filmed one, and it did like 3 million views or something.
It's like MTV Cribs, but a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly. And so, it was like a familiar, it felt familiar, but it was like a little bit taboo because you're asking people like, how much do you pay for rent? And then we're all nosy and we want to see what that gets you, right? And so we like just kept filming a bunch of those, and it was working. And we were like, why does this actually work? And we kind of, our hypothesis was that we were asking like a taboo question, and then we were like allowing the world to be nosy and then like see into it.
That's such an insight right there too, from like the hook and like just how social media works and storytelling. Like you're asking the questions that people are scared to ask themselves.
Yes, exactly. So we were just brainstorming around that idea, and we were like, what else could we do with that? Like with that hypothesis, what else can we do that people like deeply care about or like deeply attach themselves to? And I think that was work. Like, a conversation you always have when you meet someone new is like, what do you do for work? Yeah. And like, we're all nosy, like, and then you're like, damn, like, I wonder how much that person makes. Like, so we just took the same premise and applied it to careers. And he was like, you should go do this, and just like you kind of mentioned MTV Cribs for, Caleb, our inspiration was like Dirty Jobs a little bit, but applying it.
I love that show.
Yep. It's great. But applying it to a more broad range of jobs, not just dirty jobs, interesting jobs, unique jobs, like niche jobs. Like, what does it look like across the spectrum?
But when was it like, holy shit, like we're onto something here? Was it like the views, the feedback? What was it that said, what were those signals, Gabriel, that said we're onto something here?
I'm like, it worked pretty immediately. It was like within the first 5 episodes, like it was viral, and that was that, so it was just, it was just perfect. It was.
Hey, Adam here. I'm here to remind you to give to causes that make a real difference. You want to help, but you don't know where to start? Blood Cancer United is at the top of my list for obvious reasons. They are the global leader in helping patients and families with blood cancer, and your dollars fund research, patient support, and advocacy. Please give today using the link in the show notes or on the QR code on the screen. Thank you for supporting this mission. Much appreciated from the heart. So, Gabriel, thanks for hanging with me here. You know, we've been talking a lot about this journey of discovery. And what I was alluding to earlier was this characteristic that I love in people, that I love in friends, that I love in business associates, that I love in creative partners. It's around curiosity. And I feel like that's what you tapped into. That was the energy where people who are following your content, right? They're like living vicarious curiosity through you guys. Talk to us a little bit about the brainstorming. Once you're like 5 or 6 episodes in and you're like, this thing's working, it's picking up, it's going viral. Like, what other roles, right? Like, what was that approach?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I let my genuine curiosity lead the way, which was the best part about this whole thing. It's like, yes, everyone else is curious, and we want to bring that insight to all these curious people and to the viewers and whatever the audience is. But I get to do that like in first person through whatever I'm thinking of. And I truly believe that that's like the point. That's like the magic point for like any creator or artist or anyone making anything. It's like you get to do this thing that you want to do, but then you get to like be yourself. And so like, you know, very quickly within those first like 5 episodes, like, yes, it went viral and yes, it was working, but I was like, this is me. And I get to like wake up every day and like go explore a new job, you know, a new part of life. And like, that's the thing that like I want to do the most, you know? So that's how that's like where it led me.
That's so exciting. And I mean, like, your content gives dignity and visibility to jobs society often overlooks. And I use overlook lightly. So whether it be, you know, I saw the piece on sanitation workers, pizza makers, tradespeople, you make people see the skill and humanity behind the work. And I think that's really what's critical and shines. Like, but why do you think us as a society, we become so conditioned to glamorize certain careers while undervaluing the people who literally keep this world running?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, not every job is like sexy and glamorous. But like you said, like that's the majority of the workforce. Like the majority of the workforce isn't sexy and glamorous. It's people who show up every day because it makes the world go round.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense like why we glamorize like certain careers, because it's maybe more entertaining or it's just sexier. Like it makes sense. It's like, it's the same reason why, like, you know, we follow celebrities of the world, because it's almost something you aspire to, or aspire to be like, or it's just like a dream. And I think that that's probably why certain careers are put on a platform more than others. But I don't think that any one job is more important than another. And that's why I choose to highlight.
Aside from like, you know, pediatric cancer doctors,
sure.
But you know, aside, we'll put those aside. But like, think
the
about
doctors we can put at the top.
imagine our garbage didn't get picked up. Imagine our pizzas didn't get made. But I think a lot of it, and I'm curious your take on it, a lot of it has to do with the YouTubeification of society and glamorizing the influencer world. And you see these in their G5s and throwing money around and everything. Like a lot of kids, you ask them right now, a lot of young kids, if I went to my son's school right now, I bet you a lot of them would say, I want to be a YouTuber when I grow up. Right. But I think what makes your content so important is like there's other things out there. And as a recruiter, and I want your take on this too, I don't think that I don't think you have to love your job. I don't think you have to be passionate about it. And the point I'm trying to make is if that job provides you a lifestyle and the ability to live the life you want outside of your job to a level that you just love, then who cares?
Yeah.
You think every sanitation worker loves it? I know there's sanitation workers that love their job and hate their job, but they don't care because you know what? They get paid pretty well for what they do. They have a pension. Most of them have pensions. They have healthcare benefits. Most of them start work at 4 a.m. and they're done by 11 or 12 and they have the whole day to do whatever the hell they want. Like That doesn't sound too bad to me when I could still live the rest of my life. And like, I think about sanitation workers here out on Long Island, man, like summertime, like fuck, I'm the whole rest of the day. I go to the beach the rest of the day. That sounds
Yep.
pretty nice to me.
Yep. That's it. It is like, I think the important part is like, you are not your job. Like most people are not your job, you know?
There it
and
is.
so as long as you know who you are outside of your job, I don't think you need to necessarily be in love with your job or live your dream job, or, you know, or work your dream job. Of course, I feel like I am extremely privileged to like love what I do, and I do attach myself and my identity to my work.
As do I, right?
And you know, but and that's a really privileged like opportunity to be able to say that. But if you like feel fulfilled in like your own bucket of like who you are and your life and like the things that you want, like you do not have to like it's unrealistic to think that like you need to be obsessed with your job or love it. Like it can simply be a means to do all the other things that are important in your life.
Absolutely. I'm glad we're aligned on that one. So you talk a lot about guessing your career path can become one of the most expensive mistakes people make. What are those like emotional, financial, and identity costs of committing to the wrong lane too early? What have you found through your work?
I mean, like the last thing you want is to like go down a path for a decade and then be like, this isn't at all what I want for my life. You know, and in one aspect, people change, and you needed to go down that path to find out that that's not for you. But I find that people don't experiment enough. Like in our society, like we're not like it. The path isn't built to experiment. The path is just to choose something and then go off on that.
I'm going to come out of school and be in finance. I'm going to go into finance my whole life. And then like what you thought you wanted to do from high school into college and then your first world out, you're like, I fucking hate finance.
How do you know?
And now you're 15 years in and you're pigeonholed.
Right. You know, you feel like you're stuck. You have, you know, maybe golden handcuffs, or you have more responsibilities. You have family. And then at that point, it's like extremely hard to make a change, both emotionally, financially, like it compounds, and then you feel stuck. And that's just what I don't want people to feel. Like I want to encourage people to experiment a little more earlier in their lives. Or how can we help people experiment if they are in a place that feels stuck? You know, like how can you maybe try things out at like lower stakes to figure out like what your next move is. But I just like, I feel like this idea around like experimentation or just exposure to different options is kind of what I try to bring to the table.
Yeah, and I think that's what stage is all about, right? So like, let's talk about stage. What problem were you trying to solve? And what does what you were talking about, trying a career before committing, actually look like in practice? Let's get into it. Let's talk about stage. I want to talk a little bit about the origin and what you're building now.
Yeah, so stage, a little bit of background is basically a company that I'm building that solve is to help people make better informed decisions around their careers. In its ideal version, it's a job shadowing marketplace that allows you to book a job shadow in an industry that you're interested in. And my goal is kind of to recreate my time at trade school a little bit, but in a way less formal environment. Like I don't want to send people back to school, but I want to help people find that exposure, whether you're early in your career or whether you need to pivot in your career and you just need resources and you need to figure out how to take like the first step, right? So it's like, how can you go off and how can you try 10 different careers in a little bite-sized piece just to identify like, oh, I'm interested in this, or I'm not.
There's something I like about that. There's enough of a taste, like it's an appetizer.
Exactly.
Or a good look into. And like let's talk about it now from the job market standpoint. I truly believe, and I think there's obviously a stats to back this up. In this country, we have a deficiency of skilled workers coming into the workforce, right? We don't tradesmen, electrician, plumbers, line workers. I think that's a major issue right now. Like our infrastructure, we don't have the skilled tradespeople coming out of schools who are going to replace the aging population of the folks who are doing it right now.
Nope.
What the hell? Because everyone wants to go into being a content creator or technology. We could talk about being replaced by AI, but what about the shit that gets done? Side note, I have friends that are electricians that make a ton more money than me any day of the week.
Yeah.
And it
but
built
also
crazy
like
businesses.
they are crazy businesses, but also like just if you're going into the trades, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to make a little money, but it also doesn't mean you're going to make a lot of money. I think that there's been this narrative of
Right.
like, at least the narrative that I've seen of like, oh, like if you go into the trades now, like the trades are needed more than ever, like you're going to make a ton of money. I kind of feel like it's a false narrative. Like,
Recruiting tactic.
yeah, like, and I'm speaking from experience. Like my dad is an HVAC technician. He owns his own business. Like he's 70 years old. He's still working his ass off. Like I don't know when that guy's going to retire. Like he can't, and he owns the business, So yes, we need those skilled workers, but like, is it attractive enough? At the same time, like it's so hard when there's so many paths to go on. Like my dad told me not to do what he did.
Why?
Because
what was his reason?
He works so hard for so little.
Interesting. So how do you show that in the content, right? Like, so how do you keep that authenticity in the content? How do you show it? How do you really show this is what it's really like? This is the type of money you can make. These are the different levels of it. Like, how do you keep that authenticity track through the content?
Yeah, like I just try to ask people those real questions, like with that. Like some industries I know a ton about, and some industries I actually know nothing about. So I'm learning about it for the first time, and I like let my curiosity kind of guide me towards that. And I just I want to tell people's true, honest stories. And I also want to tell stories that are educational. So, some videos I know maybe have a little bit more like viral potential, and like they're going to do good they're going to go far. And then there's other videos like an HVAC technician or like a more trade-based job that I know is not going to go viral, but it's just going to be super valuable for the person that needed to see that.
For that one person. Right?
For that one person. And that's worth
cliche,
it. Like,
but it's true, right? It's like
it's
if
so
I could
true.
just help that one person make a decision, yay or nay, to go down a career path, then my content has value.
Yeah, and like that's me at my core. Like, of course, like I want the videos to go viral. Like, exactly. I want the page to grow.
All creators do.
Yeah, but I also like deeply care, and like I want to help people, and like this is the way that I can like help. So that's
purpose,
just like
man.
What I try to do.
You're finding your purpose. So what's one job that really stood out to you that you really didn't know a lot about? Like, holy shit, I didn't really understand what this job entails, or how much or how little money you can make. What's one of those recent ones that stood out to you?
Oh my gosh. I mean, there's so many. A good example, there's this girl in the West Village. Her name's Cindy. She makes custom guitars. And it's such a unique story. And honestly, I didn't expect it to like do all that well. Like I thought it was like kind of niche, but sometimes the world just decides, and I feel like it opens my eyes more. I'm like, wow, like this was like a really relatable story. And this was like, there was something even more special and precious about this than I even maybe saw at first. And, she like now has like years wait list for people to make guitars and, or to buy guitars from her. And like, you can make a lot of money. Like you can make a lot of money. You can make a little money. Like what I've found, like kind of the through line through all of this, like it's not about the money. It's about like, for these people, it's typically just about finding the thing that they want to do the most. And whether that's like your dream job or just a job that like you're satisfied doing, that's kind of what it's about. And I think that also varies depending on where we are in the world. Like I've brought this show abroad as well. And I find that purpose and work means very different things in different parts of the world. Like, if you don't mind me expanding on it, like
go for it, man. It's your platform. Like, my canvas, you're the brush.
Cool. Like I went to India earlier this year, and those episodes are still like going to be rolling out throughout this year. Filmed 10 episodes, and I found that like 9 out of the 10 episodes I filmed were like 4th or 5th generation workers. They're doing it because their parents did it, their grandparents, their great grandparents did it, and they may not make a lot of money, but they're not in it for the money. They're there because it serves a purpose in their community. It serves their community. It helps people, and they find immense pride in just serving and carrying on the family legacy of what their parents and grandparents did before them. And that's so different than what we see here in America.
We used to have that here, like generations of business, like especially in the trades, like you see like, and sons, like plumbing, heating, electric. That's kind of, and now we see a lot of consolidation, these home consolidate, like it's not the same. It doesn't have the same thing, and it's cultural differences as well. What was one of those really eye-opening moments for you when you traveled to India? Whether it be how people live or how they interact, or maybe it's how, like, at the end of the day, like, we're all the same.
I mean, yeah, it's so different there. And I think that a lot of creators, especially, like, they go to India and they like tell this one version of this story about India and how it's just like so different than the West. But like, I wanted to just get a real look, like, who are the people? You know, that's what it's about for me. Like, who are the people and what is the work that they're doing? And I feel so grateful to like tell the stories of them and how proud they are to be doing the work that they're doing. And that was like, I think this piece of like generational work fascinated me. And that was just really, really eye-opening.
See, I love this conversation because there's so many parallels in what you're doing, what I'm doing. When I have conversations with folks whether it be entrepreneurs, founders, people in the world of talent, hiring, like I know what they do, and we're going to talk about what you do, but I want to hear your story. I want to hear like what brought you there. So like for me, the two creators that have really inspired my style are Howard Stern and Anthony Bourdain, right? Those are the two stylistics for me. And Howard's with the long form content where he turns an interview into a conversation like this. Right. Like I have a flow. I know where I want to go. I'm going to take the listeners on a journey, but it's going to be an open conversation with the ability to go right, left without any guardrails. And then as alluding to it, you were saying before, Gabriel, like when I think about Anthony Bourdain, when he did his travels, he was immersing with the people. He was highlighting them as who they are as humans in their natural habitat. Right. It wasn't like, oh, look at the poverty, look at the wealth gap, look at all these things too. That's not, that's not what he did. And it's not empty. It's not empty entertainment. It genuinely helps people discover possibility and direction. How intentional are you in your story? I want to get into like your approach to storytelling, about balancing storytelling with the impact versus feeding the algorithm. Like what's that secret sauce there, man? Let's get into it. This is a question for me.
Yeah. So like the intro of the video is the algorithm piece. Like you got to get people in, right? So like asking a taboo question about money and then asking to see into that, like that hits the algorithmic piece.
Curiosity key.
Then story is king. Like you have to tell a great story. So the whole video, I'm just thinking about like while I'm there, like even in the afterwards in the edit, like I'm just trying to deduce this down to the absolute best story I can. And I think if I tell a great story, it's going to be impactful. I think that those things kind of come hand in hand. Like if you could tell a great story, you're going to impact someone. And there's really only one goal, and there's one trigger, and the trigger is emotion. You just need to make people feel something, whether that's happy, sad, dreamy, if they can see themselves in that place, like that's the perfect like scenario. If maybe they aspire, to be like that, like you have to make them feel something. So it's like the ultimate goal is just like emotion. Like what emotion is someone going to feel from this? And the emotion is the trigger. The emotion is the trigger to like it. The emotion is the trigger to share it. The emotion is the trigger to make a change in yourself. So that's kind of what I think about. I don't really play into like the trends. It's just not the type of creator that I am. Like I think I'm a storyteller and my strengths lie in telling stories. And that might not be the most efficient way to grow as a creator. That might not be, the best for the scalability of my career, but like, I don't care. Like, I'm a believer that like I'm already living my dream. I just want to do this for as long as possible. So like, I don't, it's just a long game. I'm just going to tell the best stories, you know? Yeah. I'm just going to tell the best stories that I can. And like, if I can make a living doing that, then like, that's a dream come true.
Damn, man. You're preaching to the choir. And I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about like AI disrupting industries and traditional career paths.
Yeah.
Do you think career exploration and real world experience like stage become even more critical in this hyper AI disassociated world?
I mean, in a time when like everything is being automated and less hands-on, I really think that there's going to be companies and people who thrive in IRL experience. I think
it's happening.
You know, even just from like a human standpoint, like we miss connection, and it's a combination of coming out of like this time from COVID when everyone was very alone. And then like that's backed up with like this AI boom of like, who knows where human connection has gone. Like human connection was already like took a hit during a 3-4 year period. And then now it's like, they're just driving it home with like automation and like, so I think that human connection is more important than ever. Telling human stories is more important than ever. Huge believer in that. So I think that, I mean, and we'll ultimately just see where it goes. But I think opportunities like stage to get your hands dirty a little bit will provide real value.
What does it really take to break precedent? Not rebellion for its own sake, not hustle, not a perfect plan. I'm Leah Sullivan, founder of TaskRabbit and host of Breaking Precedent. Each episode looks at the moment someone stopped performing the expected version of success and started building what was true. Guests include Nastia Lukin, Tamara Rojo, Christina Tosi, and DJ D Nice. Subscribe to Breaking Precedent wherever you get your podcasts.
I love that. So what is the mission of Stage? What are you building here? What's the purpose? Who's it for?
You know, it's ever evolving. The concept is ever evolving. Like, we're working on a career fair right now in addition to this job shadowing marketplace. Like, what does it look like if we reinvent the career fair and make it hands-on and like actually let you try it instead of just like talking to a person with a piece of paper?
Love it.
Like, that's kind of just where I'm thinking. Like, it's for people early in their careers who are maybe trying to decide and just need exposure to lots of different things. But it's also for people who have maybe worked in their career for a decade or two, need to change, but are more risk averse and don't know, do I go back to school? How do I even find something new? How do I even know if I like this? Like, the whole idea is
it's a resource.
It's a resource. That's the ultimate goal and the ultimate dream of it. And it's, believe me, like if I wanted to just like make money, I'd just make videos. Like,
you just bang out slop all day long.
You know, like,
brain rot that my 8-year-old just consumes for nonstop. That I try to cut him off like a heroin addict.
Building this business is the hardest thing I've ever done. Like, it's a dang hard thing to do, but I believe that it's needed, and I think that I'm the right person to do it. So like, that's why I'm here.
Do you think you found your purpose? Do you think you found your purpose now?
Oh, like, yeah, this is me. Yeah. Like, this is me, you know, like the content and the business are all intertwined, you know, it's like a funnel of sorts. And at the core, like, I'm a video creator, I'm a storyteller. That's the thing I love to do the most. But I hope to be able to like use the platform that I built to like make even greater impact and hopefully like leave a little bit of a legacy. And I think that that's what stage is, or whatever stage becomes. And whatever that value is outside of the videos, like, I think that there's like a opportunity to like change people's lives even more. And that's like why I'm doing it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So what's next on the horizon, man? I mean, like, well, like what is that next phase? What's that next level you want to get to here?
So, and it's very clear. Like, it's very clear. So later this year, from August to November, it's going to take me 3 months, but I'm going to every state in America, and I'm going to work a job in every state just to give a holistic view of like, what does work look like in America?
Love this.
And it'll be, a content series. There's a forthcoming book that's coming from this. And then in the spring, we hope to follow that up with this career fair that we'll host through Stage. It'll be in New York. And yeah, like that's like the next year. That's like the look at the next year. And then whatever happens beyond that, like I'm still like working through, whatever's next. But I have this big thing on the table right now that I'm like about to set off and do. And that is exciting. That's really exciting.
Well, we'll see. This episode will probably come out in early July, heading into what's the route taking you? Have you mapped it out? Is it all planned? You live in like a camper van?
Yeah, exactly. It'll be me and 3 other people, RV across the country, starting in the Northeast, hitting most of the Northeast, skipping a few states, and heading west across the north of America during like August and beginning of September. And then we'll have to fly to like Alaska and Hawaii and stuff. Then kind of, go down the coast, the West Coast, California and stuff like that. And then zigzag back across America and then ultimately end back in the Northeast, like in my hometown.
So it's a little bit of Mike Rowe inspiration, a little bit of Bourdain inspiration here, a little bit of your own flavor here. I love it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see this. This is going to be super cool. So I'm gonna do a little spin on my final question here, my encore question, my Freebird question here. So typically I ask Gabriel how you personally define success. So I'm going to spin this one a little bit based on all the videos, based on all the learnings, based on all these conversations that you have. How has your definition of success changed at this point of your life? How has that been inspired?
Oh, man. It's a beautiful question. I think that, it's not about the money. I think when maybe I started, like, I thought that the money had more influence. I didn't think it was about the money, but I thought that the money had more influence, right? But it's not. It's about just like finding the life and the work that you love. But like we talked about earlier, like you are not your job. You do not have to be your job. It's just like about like creating this life that you love for yourself. And I hope that I hope people can just like find their identity both like in and out of work. And I think that is kind of what success looks like. Success is just like a beautiful marriage of finding yourself. And if you tie that to your career, then that's amazing. Like that's beautiful. But if you don't want to tie that to your career, that's like an amazingly beautiful realization. And you can then like build yourself and fill your cup in other ways that like help you find your happiness and success in that regard. So there's no like one clear answer into like what success is. Like everyone will define that for themselves. And it's deeply personal. It's deeply personal. But like I hope that people can maybe stop looking at others in envy and start to realize like it's only in your hands to kind of find what that success and happiness is to you. And I think a thing that's nibbling me in the back of my head is like comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh yeah.
And so like you kind of have to just answer it for yourself of like, what is it that I want? And that is what success looks like. That's what success looks like.
I absolutely love that. Gabriel, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Everyone, please go check out ghostage.com. That's GOSTAJ.com. We're going to link it up in the show notes. We'll link up all the YouTube, the Instagram, all the other good stuff. What am I missing here? What else are we plugging?
Yeah.
What other sites should people be checking out?
You got it. I mean, you could check out my videos at Gabriel DeSanti. And that's where you could check out what we're doing and what's going on next.
Awesome. Good stuff. This is a fantastic conversation. Gabriel, thank you so much for hanging with me today. Everyone out there, if this show meant something to you, leave a review rating. It goes a long way. Follow us at NHP Talent on Instagram. I'm trying to build out my YouTube channel. We'll talk about that in a second. YouTube.com/the podcast. Remember, be good to yourself, be better to others, and catch us next week for another great episode of the podcast. Take care, everybody.
Wisdom is forever, but for us, it's time to go. Thank you for joining us. Luckily, we'll be back with our next episode soon, jam-packed with more incredible humans. Thank you for listening, subscribing, and sharing. To join the conversation, search the podcast on LinkedIn. And to catch up on past episodes and more info, please visit www.thepodcast.com.